So, welcome to my first programming Godot video on this channel. And today I want to just quickly show you how to integrate a frames per second counter, which is very easy, and you could do this because you want to measure the performance of your game. So I already started a game that I started developing some time ago. It was one of my first Godot projects, following a tutorial of a user called DevWorm. I will link it in the description. And as you see already on the main screen, the world screen, I've added a control, and this control is a frames per second meter, which I call, or that's what I called the scene, the TSCM, the scene. And we have it right here. And if you see nothing, because it's just a label, and this label has no content. So we can just write something, and you see there is actually a label. You can define your theme. I didn't define this theme here, so it uses a default font of Godot. And the node actually that you add is a control node. You put a canvas layer on that. Canvas layer are always on top of the game or the world, whatever you use. So canvas layers are normally used to design your user interface or parts of the user interface. And there's only one label, the FPS counter, on the layer. So, what you also see is I've added a script to the label. So everything happens here. Extends label, and we get the root of the label as a variable in the onReady function. You could also write it somewhere here, but as you see, this is empty and we can just delete it, but it's automatically generated if you open a new script. And the FPS layer, as you can see, is here. The variable of the layer, so we can put or change the visibility here. And what you see here is if input is action just pressed, FPS is something that you have to put here in your global project settings. FPS, and as you can see, it's the F12 key on your keyboard, which I'm using because I'm not using it for the game. So that's how you activate the command for the FPS layer. And so if F12 is pressed, we switch the visibility to the opposite of the visibility. So currently at the start it's switched on, but you can also switch it off, and then it's always the opposite of the current. It's a toggle button, you can call it. So, and then you see the second most important. Ready is initializing normally the current scene, and process delta, as is written in the command, is processed every frame. And here you see all the magic happens in this command, because the Godot gaming engine already knows how many frames per second there are, because this is also how the delta value is calculated. And yeah, that's basically what we're doing here is assign the frames per second from the engine itself to a variable, which is an integer value, and here we convert the integer value to a string, and then we could write it into the text. Remember, we here in the label, and so the text is a class member of a label, so we don't have to put something like $FPS Counter or so in front, because we're still in the same class. We can just reference the text itself and then put the FPS count on top of it. And now we are running our game by hitting the play button. You see the visibility was switched off, and now I hit F12, and you see in the left upper corner we're running the game with 60 frames per second. And F12 switches this off again. So that's everything for my first video. Very easy content, but we're getting more complicated and longer videos during the course of my channel. So thank you for being here. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.